I'm going to try to exercise my willpower to not go on another Breath of the Wild tangent for the rest.
I don't believe you.
Well, yeah, okay. Okay, part of it is just that I really want to commentate over that game. Like, I want to do a proper playthrough, but it's also a really hard game to do that for.
You say that, and the fact that we're even doing this at all, I think gives us some degree of hope.
Well, I mean, Sonic Frontiers, this is like a 27-part playthrough in total. So,
yeah,
it's like, it's not very long.
No, but the gameplay loop is very similar.
Kinda, sorta. It's also a lot faster paced, though.
Yeah. But there's a lot more nuance and content within your objectives in Breath of the Wild that I think would give us plenty to talk about. But there still needs to be liberal amounts of editing.
Yeah. I have 20 parts of an attempted recording, and holy shit, I didn't get very far in those 20 parts.
Well, I think that's also because you're a very methodical player.
Well, yeah, but I also knew where everything was. Like, the first thing I did after I left the Great Plateau was, instead of going toward Kakariko, I veered left and got the Royal Horse, so I never had to catch another horse again. Because it's like...
We'd never get a Dark Souls commentary done.
Well, I think I'd be a little too focused on trying to stay alive to go after all the secrets, to be honest. But... like, I know where all the good stuff is in Breath of the Wild, is what I'm saying. So I can plot a course through the game pretty easily enough. Like, I got the best horse in the game right out the gate, because I knew it happened to be close to the Great Plateau. And then I rode to Kakariko Village. It was easy. But it also took a long goddamn time, because that world is big. Have you noticed? Hyrule is pretty huge. For some reason, the geography expands with every game it features in.
Jesus Christ, you should not be able to get away with the shit that you're doing.
Well, you know, the game...
Skill issue. Go ahead, say it. Skill issue.
No, it's not a...
That was your time. That was your moment.
No, because it's not a skill issue. It's a physics issue. This game is caught in the weird nether space between Sonic Adventure and Sonic 06, where the game really wants to lock down your physics to set speeds like 06 does. But the basis underneath it is like really free-flowing physics-based. So sometimes you can trigger really unexpected moments of freedom that enable you to do things you wouldn't think you would be able to do. But that makes mastering this game really difficult to parse, because like you will not know whether something will work at all or whether it will work consistently until you've experimented for yourself. And that's both exciting and a little annoying, because it also means that I can't 100% trust the game's controls to consistently always do the same thing. Now, we're in cyberspace again. And goddamn, those homing attacks are starting to annoy me. Because they take for fucking ever.
I'm kind of on and off with the homing attack recoil in Frontiers. On one part, I like it because just the impact. And it also, like, momentarily allows me to catch my breath for as quick and instant as it is. At the same time,
I mean the recoil effect by itself would be fine. It's just that they force you to wait for it every time, you know. And I
only on certain objects, like on robots and shit. Like on balloons, you don't get it at all.
Well, that was always the case. The balloons always. In fact, the balloons here are a little stiffer than they used to be. But in previous games, you would sort of do a flippy flip when you hit the balloons, and you would carry. You carry forward with your momentum. Yeah. Here, they don't quite do that, but they do at least, like, not force you into waiting for the recoil, which I thought was a lesson that the series learned not to do after 06 annoyed everyone with it. But, well, they're doing it again, and it would probably be...
This is a rooftop run. Act from
Yes, it is. I remember it very clearly because this one was also an asshole. mostly because of your jumping control in Unleashed. Like, it wasn't fun. But here, like, Yeah, the control in the cyberspace stages is appreciably worse than Generations for forward momentum boosting, but it's also fundamentally the Sonic Frontiers controls, which are good for platforming. Like, you know.
Oh, fuck that balloon. In both this game and in Unleashed, because I remember hating that shit.
The ones that required you to wait until a certain point in your drop.
Wait until you pass the spike, yeah. So that you can comfortably homing attack it. I remember a long time ago, I remember hating the homing attack that was gravity defying, despite the fact that, dude, homing attack by principle is gravity defying. What the fuck are you arguing about?
I think that person's personal cutoff point for the absurdity of the homing attack was the point at which it becomes actual flight. Because if Sonic can homing attack upward, why can't he just dash upward? Well, the answer is he can, here in Sonic Frontiers.
So why don't you shut up, Bob?
In fact, Sonic can, in this game, use enemies that you would homing attack as the springboard for what's called the slingshot. I think I might have talked about this earlier. But it's basically an exploit where if you hit the dash button, if you hit the boost button, when you're in the middle of homing attacking towards something, you will just keep all your momentum from both the boost and the homing attack, which is a lot of fucking speed.
Yeah, you did bring this up because I also mentioned that it was officially acknowledged in the Sonic Twitter page.
So it's like you can use basically any enemy in the game as a slingshot to go flying if you're precise enough with your timing. I might have attempted to demonstrate that at some point in this recording, but I discovered it too late. Oh no, here we go. How many do I have? At this point, I'm at 600 rings, so all the upgrades that I'm going to be doing are speed for a little while. Until I have, like, enough to upgrade everything at once, anyway.
I'm just looking at 601, and then I see your ring levels 34. You're like, what the fuck?
You get, like, something like 6 rings per level. It's pretty obnoxiously small.
Well, it caps at 999, I believe.
It does.
Right?
So it's a small number of rings per level, and you basically don't see any impact from either the speed or the ring boost until you can do a whole bunch of it at once, which makes it doubly annoying that the upgrade process is so slow. Because it's not worth doing it little by little throughout the game. And you're not going to get very much of it done that way anyway, unless you're really, really into combing the environment for these little bastards. But
no, it's just not efficient at that point.
Yeah. So it's the one part of the upgrade system that really just does not work at all, and you need to rely on fishing to do it. See,
they tried though, because I think that was the entire point of the Coco chests. That you only find very intermittently.
The Coco chests are not numerous enough.
Yeah,
there should have been should have been hundreds more of those Coco chests scattered throughout the game. Make them a constant reward for exploring and doing things. Then the Coco upgrade system would have worked, but not. Oh no! Wait, which one is this?
This is Missouri.
Yeah, this is the Missouri Drift area. So this is also an Unleashed level. And back in Unleashed, this level wasn't a problem because you had a manual drift.
Excuse you, this level was absolutely a problem because you had a manual drift.
The only thing I didn't like about this level in the original game, if I remember correctly, was getting the specific Sun and Moon token. Well, the Sun token. No, the Moon tokens. What the fuck?
Sun and Moon tokens were easy to get. You just jogged casually through the level until they show up.
I'm more talking about like trying to kill two birds with one stone, complete the stage and get the token at the same time. In that case, it was a piece of shit.
Well,
but like going through it itself, I didn't really find that much of an issue with because the drift, you had a drift. This game doesn't have a manual drift, so instead it tries to do the Sonic Colors thing, where it gives you the context drift. But the context drift sucks.
I think at one point in development, it's been found. There's like been evidence found that the drift was supposed to be part of Sonic's moveset, but they didn't include it.
Yeah, they just took it out.
But the thing about the figure 8 level in the original game was the Sonic Unleashed drift was slippery as hell. Like,
oh, it was two things, I think. One, the drift being slippery was one thing, but you also moved way faster in
yes,
Unleashed.
you did. The boost speed in Unleashed was, well, maybe not at first, but as you upgraded your speed, yeah.
Yeah.
And for a level like the figure 8, it became kind of a liability to do that, to be honest.
You might not even boost at all.
Yeah. The thing about that level, though, is that because the drift was so slippery, trying to S-rank that level in particular was a real issue. Because it was really hard to figure out that sweet spot where you could drift around corners safely and not just crash into the walls all the time. I hated that stage, and to this day, I don't know what they were thinking. They must have been really proud of that drift to have a stage that's nothing but drift around figure 8.
I think at that point it was like, this is more like a racing game with these controls. Why don't we just make a racing course? It's like, you're a genius.
At least it wasn't as big a headache as the DLC stages, though.
No. Well, that's not hard to say, though, to be fair, because a lot of DLC stages in Unleashed were not good.
They must have hired a Kaizo fan game creator to create half of those stages because, god damn. It's like the thing about Sonic Unleashed day stages is that they're really hard to do perfectly, but they also tended to ride this line where you weren't frequently punished that hard for messing up. Not that hard, anyway. But in the DLC stages for Sonic Unleashed, the game was just constantly throwing spikes and other damage obstacles at you every half second, and
yeah. Unleashed already had a problem where it was very reactionary level design because you were encouraged to boost every single time. But the DLC stages was like, okay, that, but 3 times as worse.
The only way to reliably get through a DLC stage on your first time was probably to just not boost at all and jog through it and try to memorize where everything was for your eventual real attempt. But, yeah.
But yeah, not fun. They're just not good stages.
No, they are not. I'm looking at this section, and I was trying to figure out where we are. We're on the. I actually pointed this out in the distance in a previous part. This is the big old intricate stone obstacle course that you could see leading into the giant platform in the sky. This would be like an interesting set piece if the entire game wasn't like comprised of the same 3 assets over and over. I really want to like the ancient ruins aesthetic for some of the platforming challenges, but the obstacle courses in the sky all looking quite so samey does kind of spoil that for me. Why did I wind up running down? That's not the way I was trying to do.
Maybe you're waiting, hoping like a dash pound to take you up faster.
No, I think the game just oriented me in the wrong direction, to be honest. Nope.
Wasn't quite feeling that. Let me try it again.
Let's do it again.
With feeling.
Seriously, I actually thought that piece of the level that you just bypassed was kind of reckless because there's nothing telling you that there's anything on the right side of that screen over there. I think they should have added maybe like a small trail of rings to encourage you to like continue going right.
Maybe. Then again, I never had. I didn't reach that part of the level and have problems with it, so I can't say for sure.
Right. Skill issue.
Well, not skill issue, but it might be like.
I'm giving you all these opportunities to poke fun at me, and you're just not taking it. Like, why are you so nice?
Well, because I'm trying to transition into an actual point about game design. It's all well and good to draw a player's attention with a trail of coins or rings or other collectibles, but there are also other subliminal signals that you can send to the player to get them going in the right direction too. It doesn't always have to be quite so obvious. It's just hard to find the correct places to use the subtler versions of player direction. And I'm trying to figure out if that place was one of the ones where it just made sense for me to go in that direction, and I wasn't thinking about why it made sense.
Trying to put the pieces together. The Ancients' technology was built specifically for the Chaos Emeralds and runs on their
Oh, okay.
Starfall Island system.
This is actually an interesting little bit where Sonic and the others have been talking about these things like they're Chaos Emerald containment units and nothing else, but Tails points out, no, they're actually like power devices that use the Chaos Emeralds to power things. And he's like the only character who has the expertise to tell the difference, so it's part of the reason. Like, I was surprised, I think I mentioned this earlier, but I was surprised when I played this game for the first time and realized that they were going to Amy and then Knuckles before Tails, because I'm so used to Tails being the character who's there from the very beginning, you know? But I think it was the right choice in this case because it allowed them to hold off on some of the technological revelations about the Starfall Islands ruins.
Yeah, because imagine them revealing all that early on and then doing nothing with it for like the next 2 islands.
Yeah. I mean,
I think the way it's laid out was the right play.
I also think that it's better to leave that stuff for later because by this point in the game, players are probably fully decided on whether or not they care about this stuff. Okay, so where am I going?
Oh, I think Island 3 probably has my favorite environmental music because I actually really like all the pieces that play as it grows.
Well, I like all of the pieces here, but I'm also a really big fan of music that combines that atmospheric feeling with, you know, actual fucking melodies. I mean,
yeah. Well, I think Island 3 does it the best.
Island 3 is at a point where the story stakes are starting to get darker and grimmer and more serious, so the music has a bit more grim energy to it.
Yeah. Well, not this one. I feel like by the end of Island 3, there's kind of a cautious, optimistic level to the theme itself. I think it has to do more with just Sonic and Tails' relationship.
That might be right. I might be confusing my audio tracks, actually. The one thing that I know is that Island 4's theme, like, makes my teeth chatter. It's like...
Yeah.
It's like a really good theme for a tense build-up, you know? It says that shit has already hit the fan and you're on the precipice of disaster and you need to get shit done right now. But it's also like Island 4, so...
I like how you're still bothering to fight these things despite the fact that you're at level 99 experience points.
Well, they have to know their place.
Because they drop collectibles, mainly. You get more random enemy drop what the
That's happened like 13 times in this island throughout this commentary if you have lost track.
Well, yeah,
I mean, some of them looked really cool, and one of them even let you get to the Chaos Shrine a little early because you were able to like steer your way towards it.
Well, I mean, yeah, there is that, but none of them have launched me quite so vertically high as that one so far. Okay. So, Tails, I bet you're really glad to be incorporeal right now.
Yes.
As we
well, I mean, if Sonic ain't fucking melting.
As we stand
I
next
think
to
Tails
an
will be
open
fine.
lava flow.
We're having trouble finding them.
This is one of those things that video games just consistently ignore for the sake of rule of cool, is that if any actual living person were, you know, this close to lava, they would die pretty instantaneously. Well, I say games ignore it, but Breath of the Wild actually forced you to have a fireproof potion if you wanted to walk through those areas, which was cool. God damn it, I did it again.
Or at least fire armor.
Yeah, well, you had to reach Goron City first for the fire armor. It was one of those cases where
Actually, no, I remember what I did. I don't think I had a fire potion. I think I just fucking brute forced my way through it. Yeah, until I get one of the armor pieces.
Oh. Did you not talk to the people down at the mines?
That was really dumb, dude.
Yeah, because like the first place they like really impress on you that you need fireproof potions is the stable at the foot of the mountain where someone will just straight up sell them to you.
Yeah.
And then there's the mines partway up the mountain, but before you hit the place where you'll spontaneously combust, and you can start catching the fireproof lizards there that you can make the potion with.
This Ratchet and Clank shit that we're doing here. Just
This-
breaking boxes
getting
and just
gears.
getting nuts and bolts. Yeah.
This is actually like probably the kind of challenge you would find in a Jack and Daxter or Ratchet and Clank game as a side attraction.
A Ratchet and Clank easily.
More than anything, is actually 7 Remakes box breaking game.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it feels more Ratchet and Clank because of the nuts and bolts here, but Jack and Daxter did have crates to smash and stuff like that. It just gave you ammo instead of nuts and bolts. But yeah, you're right. This is a lot like Final Fantasy VII's box breaking quest, right down to the fact that it has bigger boxes that are worth more.
But harder to break.
Yeah. That minigame.
I failed this my first time. I actually didn't have enough because I underestimated how much hits the other boxes took.
Oh, yeah. It takes a bit of getting used to be able to hit the goals in those minigames consistently, but it's pretty well balanced once you do. Here, on the other hand, it's just a crapshoot, because Sonic Frontiers does not know how to do well-balanced, challenging challenges. There's a lot to criticize about this game in spite of how fun it is.
See, that animation should have ended with Sonic just immediately combusting.
That's it.
Should have, yeah.
Cannon is
I mean,
complete.
Oh boy. Now the drink's starting to settle in.
oh man, I ate one too many
Sonic,
Doritos.
I can see the music, Sonic.
Why do I have goggles even though I don't have hands to pull them down with?
Here's a scene where Tails reflects on his bad writing in Sonic Forces. I mean, I'd feel ashamed if I were written that badly too.
I'm here to help, so don't give up, okay?
Whatever you say, Magic Two-Tailed Fox.
Wait, you're not an illusion from the? Oh,
I was gonna say it's like kind of par for the course.
Focus on finding the
I mean, his eyes are widened up to be all doped out.
Yeah.
the Cocos, like, my first impression of the Cocos was, legally distinct Koroks, but now that I've, gotten used to them as concepts within their own story, I actually kind of like them. I also like the way they animate, in that they're stone constructs, but their mouths and eyes animate anyway, sort of like the masks in a modern MCU movie.
But like, but stuff like the Coco and the Koroks, are based off of Japanese mythology,
Yeah, probably.
Japanese folklore. Because I know because that was like the immediate thing to compare the Cocos to, was like the Koroks specifically. But it's like in reality, it's actually just a wholesale reference to some Japanese folklore.
Well, specifically, the Korok seeds are based on Japanese folklore. More
Well, no,
specific-
like the Koroks and the Coco themselves too are also a reference to something specifically in folklore, not just the seeds.
I don't know about the Koroks themselves, but it's been a while since I played Wind Waker. So, all I know is that they used to be the Kokiri, and then they decided they were bored with being children for some reason, and decided to be little bark people instead. Okay. Sure. But the Korok seeds are definitely based off of a Japanese folklore thing. What was it called? The Golden Poo. It was not a very pleasant revelation to find out that throughout that entire game I'd been hunting high and low for little nuggets of Korok poop. But that's a thing that it actually is. They've officially said so. And your reward for collecting all 900 plus seeds is just a
Is a bigger piece of poo.
bigger piece of poo, yeah.
Thanks for the $60, idiot. It doesn't matter what you feel about the next Zelda game, you're gonna buy it anyway.
It's true.
It's supposed to be some kind of lucky charm or something, I think.
What, golden shit?
Look, okay, ancient civilizations are weird about things that we consider gross today. You know.
See, I'm the kind of guy that views something at face value first and then looks for the significance behind it second. So, like, that's hence my reaction to it.
All right. I guess I'm, like, actively pursuing the main plot again.
Well, you have
Joy
nothing
of
else to
joys.
do.
You have nothing else to do, yeah, because you're maxing out skill points. So I think you stopped caring about the Cocos for now. Nice inadvertent spring jump. What the fuck? You just launched yourself. Oh,
Look.
Oh my god.
Look. Freedom and speed together can lead to some really intense, chaotic movements. Okay? That's what makes it fun. That's why they should
Blue
not...
streaks, speeds by my fucking knees.
Man. You know what would be cool?
It's not like you're acting like you just got a booster shot, dude.
He probably feels like he just got one. Hey, I've been vaccinated. I know those day after doldrums. He looks like I felt.
Oh my god, Sonic doing one of those fucking Pfizer reaction videos, and it's just him covered in the red shit.
This is a fun little interaction where
Right.
Sage intentionally waits for Sonic to get going and then confronts Tails on his own purely to ask a stupid question.
I like how she uses his proper name too, not calling him Tails.
Of course. I'll admit he isn't perfect.
Yeah, that is a nice little bit of characterization.
Over and over again.
Yeah, this cutscene goes a lot better than I thought it was going to, because I thought they were going to do the tried and true, no, like, manipulate them behind the scenes to make them, like, hate each other, but it's like, no, she's genuinely asking questions because she herself is not sure.
I like this interaction, though, because it's the first time Sage is confronted with the notion that the reason people trust Sonic is because he has proven himself trustworthy in the past. And that's kind of like a perspective I guess she hasn't considered up until this point, because up until now she's been acting like they've been all operating on blind faith. But no, they've got like how many games in this series so far of Sonic winning? A lot, basically.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's every game, actually, yeah.
I was actually like asking, how many games long is this series by now? Jesus Christ.
Are we just talking mainline games?
No, just like all series, all games in the series.
There's too many.
Yeah, I mean, holy shit.